And this is Lala Madness. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Fierce Review. And basically, you know where to reach me at pretty much on all social media platforms. Sorry about that. Let me get this straight here. All right. At Lala Madness, and also check out all of my videos on YouTube at Lala Madness as well, and follow me on Instagram at Lala Madness _official. However, in this episode of the Fierce Review, we'll be discussing Todd and Julie Chrisley, which they were charged with fraud. Go figure. So, this is a very interesting story, considering the fact that even though you see a people with a lot of money, that does not mean that they got it legally, or you're still trying to figure out how they got it. But being that they are from the show Chrisley Knows Best, which I think they had some dealings in the entertainment industry or in some sort prior to that, why would you need to commit fraud to get more money? I don't understand. But they said it was to keep up their lavish lifestyle. But if you have a show, don't they pay you to do that? But anywho, not going to go there on that. I'm going to just jump right into the story and give you guys the details and the facts of pretty much what's going on. Now, their show Chrisley Knows Best is actually on the USA Network, and they were actually served a federal indictment in Atlanta, Georgia, where they were actually, they turned themselves in, and they are there. Okay. So now they've actually been charged with 11 counts of tax evasion, bank fraud, wire fraud, and also conspiracy. Now, they've been sentenced to up to 30 years in prison. They could be, not were. We haven't gotten to the trial yet. Excuse me, I'm jumping the gun. Because we know they're going to wiggle their ass out of this anyway, prior to it coming down to being sentenced for anything. They're going to get some probation and a minor slap on the wrist, because we know how this goes. Okay. So they could be sentenced to up to 30 years given the charges that they've actually been charged with. And they actually also indicted their accountant, who is Peter Tarantino, on tax-related offenses. Okay. Now, officials claim Todd and Julie set up a production company called Seven Seas Production, which served as a loan-out company for all the money earned. They also claimed that there were forged documents in relation to a lot of the loans that they actually received or went and got. Okay. And y'all got fraudulent documents. Yeah. So they also went on from 2007 to 2012, as far as the scam or the scheme or whatever that they actually were arrested for, the conspiracy, fraud, and all that, was actually done between 2007 and 2012. And they actually failed to file taxes from 2014, 15, and the 2016 tax years with an S. Okay. Now they claim that they're both innocent in the situation, and Todd actually allegedly worked with someone to make the bank account appear to have $4 million in it for a loan that they actually needed. Okay. But they didn't have an account at that bank at the time. So basically they had these documents. They took the documents saying that they had $4 million in a bank account, which would be what's needed, or some form of money that's needed for a actual loan. However, that bank account didn't even exist. The bank did, but they didn't exist on an account at that particular bank. And I guess somehow they figured that it wouldn't be caught. Okay. So the feds actually have email evidence that states Tom saying, "You are a generous fuck. Just make it show $4 million. And that's what he actually sent to the person that was assisting him in creating these documents. But he claims he's innocent. Keep that in mind. How can you be innocent and they have emails of you actually telling somebody good job and telling them exactly how much you want the documents to say? Interesting. Okay. So Julie is responsible for taping, and Julie, who is the wife, is responsible for taping and gluing documents together for certain loans. They blame it on a crooked accountant, and that they were carried out by a former employee and they have no knowledge of it. Claims the person had been stealing from them. No, they wasn't stealing from your ass. Let me tell you what they was doing. They was getting paid for the dirty work that you had them doing. Now you want to claim it's stealing. Any money that they got from you is stolen. No, it's not, because you were stealing money. You were stealing money by getting bank loans or whatever type of loans you were getting from somewhere with forged documents from the people that you told to forge them for you. And your wife was forging most of them as well by gluing and taping a bunch of shit together. I'm just saying, okay, go figure. This is how it works. This is what they do. You know, it's kind of how it happens. And now you want to act like play the victim. It wasn't me. Wasn't me. I didn't do that. No. I don't know exactly how it got done. It was the faulty accounting. It was the former employee. They were stealing. No, they was getting the funds that you were paying them to do this dirty ass deed. And that was in order to get you more money so you could continue to live a lavish lifestyle. Truth be told, that's what happened. Okay. And now they actually went to the hearing. They both pled, well, not the hearing. They went to the initial preliminaries. They both pled not guilty, which is, of course, what all criminals do in the beginning. Plead not guilty. It wasn't me, because you got to find this evidence, which they telling you the evidence that they already have. If they got it, they know you did it. You'll be taking a plea in just a second. And you know what I'm saying? Depend on how many thousands of dollars that you've taken, which is probably $1 million or $2 million if you want busting moves like that, then you know what I'm saying. Some people go and they steal a couple $100. Some people go and they steal a couple million, so that when they do get caught, they have a little money to get themselves out. They got money to pay a good ass lawyer. They got money to do this. That's what most people should do that are in a criminal enterprise, but most people don't. They did. So they've both been granted with $100,000 bail each. And they have to surrender their passports when and if released with bail. And they will actually be able to travel in Atlanta, Tennessee, and California to film their show. Atlanta, because this is where they reside. The show is actually filmed in California, and I guess they have other business that they need to handle in Tennessee as well. But they have to notify their probation officers first before they travel, which is what most criminals do that's on probation, or being watched closely, or being able to move around a little bit, given, you know, whatever your charges were, or the ability to travel is going to have to be done through your PO, as they call it. So I guess you didn't get away scot-free. You did for years. You didn't file no taxes for a couple years, which legally you don't have to file your taxes for up to 3 years. So you do have 3 years to basically catch those taxes up before they start fucking with you. And I guess you expended those 3 years. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're supposed to do 2 and then go file the next year, which you're supposed to have had them couple years to catch up and save up any money that you're going to owe them niggas. And also you need to probably get on a payment plan to pay that back too. So they don't fuck with you. But that ain't what happened. And then now they got emails of you and everything. They got your accountant locked up. And if you think that the accountant is about to take the charge for shit that you probably had him do, or and he gonna say I did it because my client told me to, but then you know in best practices being dependent upon, you know, where you were certified through, some states have you go through the board, some don't. And then you could possibly lose all of your license accreditations or whatever is associated with that due to the fact you assisted in a criminal act. So if you think he not about to tell on your ass, he is. So he's been indicted as well, like I said, the accountant. So the accountant will be probably talking a little bit. Watch what I say. I'm going to be following this story. You should follow it too, because you see how it goes down when people get to telling. And, you know, some people just play with you and, you know, they'll tell little stories about you and try to cut you down that way. And some people cut your ass off at the knees, which is what they're trying to do. They're trying to throw the employee under the bus. They're trying to throw the accountant under the bus. And if you trying to throw him under the bus, what the fuck you think he gonna do to you? He know all your dirt. He know all the books he done cooked for your ass, because I'm sure he was cooking them. In order to do the documents he needed to do, in order to get the loans he needed to get. There has been shit that's been going down behind everybody's back besides yours, because you knew, so you're not fucking innocent. Don't play like you're innocent, like you didn't know, like it was everybody else's fault. But who was spending the money? You was, along with the people that you had do it that got their little cut for doing it. Probably a bunch of loans that you never planned on paying back. But what was you getting loans for anyway? Because you got the money from the show. The show is still on because you're still filming. So how much money you got from each season of doing the show? If it's just your family, then basically you would end up with, you know, you don't be giving your kids their little change. You know, you keep that, act like it's for a college fund, but you dipping into this shit. Yeah, you got their part too. So at the end of the day, what you been doing with the money you been getting from the show and all the other businesses that you have all together, production companies and all this? Okay. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Chrisley, we'll see what's going on with your federal indictments, because right now we know that you have $100,000 bail that you could bail out from, because I'm sure you have $200,000 cash somewhere to get y'all asses out. It's not going to be hard to do because you got it. Unless they froze all your assets and shit. But you know, you do shit like move money around. Have it here, have it there. You know what I'm saying? You don't never keep it all in one place. Have it in somebody else's name and shit. Yeah, same way. People do it. That's what happens. And so we'll be looking out to see what happens to your ass, because it happens to everybody else. You know, y'all ain't going down for a little bitty crime like, you know what I'm saying, you done went and took $30 out the drawer at work or something. Or, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to rob the gas station for some gas. No, nigga. Y'all went forging documents and taking big loans out and blaming it on everybody else. So it's not going to work out well for you. And they're going to start snitching on your ass, all the people that's involved that you actually try to throw under the bus too. So, interesting to see what happens. Okay? And once again, thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Fierce Review. Like, comment, and share. And also, we will see you back with more videos. I got a couple more I got to drop today with more tea, more news, and more for you. Lala Madness, I'm out.